everyone, welcome back. This is my latest 2020 Calathea collection video. We're starting here with my Rosy. I've got two. I'll show them both to you. I got this plant last year. If you know of a Calathea I have and you don't see it in this video, that is likely because it has not made it. It got attacked by spider mites. Something happened to it and it's no longer with me. That does happen and I don't want to hide that from you. This is my other Calathea Rosy. It was the larger of the two when I got it, and I figure it's worth sharing with you what happened to it. I divided it when I initially potted it. It was not old enough, it was not mature enough, and I damaged the plant. And the other division didn't make it, and this one, it was close to not making it as well. So just a tip, when you get your number one wish plant, and you get two, don't get greedy and try to make 3 out of 2 before they're mature enough to handle a division. Lesson learned. My other Rosy though, isn't that, like, I'm sorry. I feel like it's like the most beautiful thing. It is the most beautiful plant I've ever seen, and it is the plant when people come in my house and I say, have you ever seen anything like this? Here is my Calathea Whitestar. This was also a wish list plant, and it's doing pretty good. Now, I did give this a preventive spray of neem oil when I thought I might have seen a spider mite somewhere, and it did burn those 2 leaves you saw me touch, the edges. Otherwise, it's doing pretty good. Everything in here, by the way, has been treated with neem oil recently, meaning that I put neem into the soil, right, so that it systemically goes through the plant. The plant takes it up through the roots and shoots it out through the leaves. And then I also did a spray with rosemary oil, which is known to impact arachnids, which spider mites are. And I have also done a topical neem oil, transitioning that because we'll get to it in a little bit. I'll explain why I had to do that. This is my Whitestar that I got that was from overseas. It was in shipping for probably 3 weeks. You saw that stem that was bent. The leaf is still alive. The stem carries nutrients. Look at the new growth though. I was not sure if this plant was going to live, let alone ever put out new growth. It was in shock. It was in really bad shape, and let's see if it bounces back. Now, this is a specimen of a Whitestar where you go, oh my gosh, how amazing. That's because it came from Plantarina's shop, and it is beautiful. I've only had it a month, maybe 2 months now. It is just absolutely gorgeous. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. Barely a mark or 2 on it. Otherwise, just pristine. Here is my Calathea Maui Queen, or is it? I don't know. It kind of, as it gets older, looks like a misto to me. This is one of those plants that after I got it, let's take a look at these. I talked to you about this in my Calathea winter collection video. This sometimes happens when you get a plant that has just been fertilized to the max, and I've gotten a few. After you get it, the damage will start to come out. You'll start to see fertilizer burn on the leaf, and all you can really do is write it out. I hope the plant survives when it's really bad, and I'll show you one that was really bad, and wait for the new growth. The new growth on this plant is mature. Again, it looks more like a misto to me now, maybe, than a Maui Queen. We're going to have to see. It's got new growth, though. It's looking promising, and I think this year it's going to mature. This is my white tiger, and no, it's not a fusion white. It is a white tiger. I might do a video explaining some of the differences. It's looking pretty good. It came out of winter looking pretty good. There are some crispy edges or tips here or there, but otherwise it's doing pretty well. Its green leaves do come in a little bit bigger than its leaves that are predominantly white. Here is my Calathea Fusion White. Now this one has much larger white leaves than it does green leaves, which is interesting. And it came through winter pretty good. If you've been following my channel, you know I regrew this completely after it went through humidity stress 2 years ago. And so, or 2 winters ago, not last winter, but the winter before. And this winter, I was able to really buffer it and keep it much, much healthier and make sure that using the heater, which I need to do with a plant that doesn't like the cold, most of my plants are tropicals, that it's getting some moisture and not getting completely dried out. However, it's going to need to be repotted. This and my Concinna Freddie, I did a not good job potting, so this is my Musaica. It's a network, actually, and it's got crispy. This is one of the plants where I just don't know. And this is another one, the Zebrina. Somebody left me a comment and said after having a Zebrina, they completely gave up on Calatheas altogether, and I totally get it. I get it now. My Zebrina it's got new growth coming in, but it's really struggled. It's almost like drop dead multiple times for reasons I can't tell you, what happened. What I can say is I will never put a Calathea that's not a Rosio picta into a terracotta pot again in my life. I just won't. It's really struggled. This is my Concinna Freddie. If you remember, I completely grew this plant too. It had very damaged roots, and I did really clean those up, regrow the plant leaf for leaf. And this is what it looks like now. It's getting really big. It's going to need to be repotted soon, which is good because, again, I'm not happy with the potting job I did on this, but I'm excited. It's so beautiful, and it really pulled through, and I didn't know if it would. So it looks like this spring will be, for this as well as my Maui Queen, transformational. I think that they're really going to reach a point of maturity. These are some seedlings that I started, and I'll tell you more about that in another video. So here is supposedly a Calathea Crocata. That's what it was when I bought it. It's of course more expensive because those are incredibly rare. And, a lot of people commented who know a lot more about plants than I do and said, that is not a Crocata most likely. It may not even be a Calathea. This plant almost died. I kid you not. It's got scar tissue in the center of dead growth. Almost every single leaf dropped off of this plant from fertilizer burn. And those two fertilized tips, you see, I have not fertilized this plant with anything that would burn the roots. So beware, sometimes you get a plant that does that. Here was ground zero for a spider mite infection earlier this year, my Calathea Picturata Argentea. It is recovering. Some of the leaves look really rough because I took this thing outside and I hosed it down with tap water. I don't care. I'm not losing this plant. That bottle you see next to it is neem oil, and this thing is getting treated. It's had a neem oil soil soak. I've used rosemary oil, and it is being treated with neem just regularly at this point. Here is my Calathea Illustris. This was a rescue plant. Guess which other Calathea in the plant room had a spider mite leaf? Just one. It was my Illustris. I've had to regrow this sucker because it was in such bad shape when I got it, and I'm not letting go of this plant either, and I'm just diligent about treating it. My Warscewiczii also attacked by the spider mites. So again, I've put these Calatheas, I've cut them back, and I am just treating them. I am not losing these. I'm not losing another plant to spider mites. So here is my giant medallion. You can see my hand easily fits onto one of the leaves. It's doing really good. It's getting light from an eastern window. Those other plants that weren't in the plant room, they're in a north-facing window, right up against a north-facing window. Here is my Picturata Crimson. This is in an eastern window, and this is my kind of quarantine area in the house when plants come in, just to keep them separated. It's got new growth there in the center, and then also right here under the that leaf right there, it's got another piece of new growth. So it's just hanging out in the nursery pot that it came in, looking sharp. And here is my Fucata. It's got some crispy tips. Other than that, it's doing pretty well. It was delayed in shipping, but it made it through like a real champ. It was actually flowering when I got it. And it's just really a beautiful plant. Here is a Princess Jessie that was labeled a Dottie when I bought it. And I knew it was a different type of plant, so I picked it up because I don't have one that looks like it. And it's doing okay. It had a little bit of damage, and honestly, the soil, whatever the soil is made up of that it came with, can't hold enough moisture for what the Calathea needs. So I'm going to need to repot that sooner rather than later. And here is my Makoyana. The Makoyana, you can tell, was top watered, obviously, with probably, I assume, a soaker nozzle, and hosed down. And you can see the stains. Anything I would use to take those stains off would also take off a layer of the leaf that's actually protecting its cuticle. I'm not going to do that. So I just wait for plants to regrow new growth. I do not like messing with the cuticles on their leaves. But But here is my quarantine area. These will likely make it into the plant room. They've all been here for a while now, and all seem to be pest-free. Here is my Calathea Dottie. This is in my bedroom, and this is one of my Calatheas that started to bloom earlier this year. I'm going to put in some footage right here so that you can actually see what a fresh bloom looks like. Check it out. Is that not the most brilliant, amazing thing you've ever seen? It looks like a miniature iris. It is just, nature is amazing and powerful, and I love having a piece of it in my room like this. This Dottie is really happy. It's grown a ton, and it's outgrown its pot. It really needs to be repotted, and it is struggling in being in a smaller pot, to be honest with you. It really loves being in an eastern window. It loves the light, I think, that it's getting here. And so I love having it here. It is just, I show people pictures of the plant, just like, can you believe how beautiful this is? So anyway, let's talk about patents, because sometimes when I buy mislabeled plants, this is what I have to do. I have to go actually look up the patents and try to find and figure out what sort of Calathea or Gopurtia or however you want to refer to this plant. So Google does have a very easy to access patent section, and so you can just look this up. It'll tell you an abstract. It'll usually have some images and lots of information about, you know, what shape are the leaves and how tall does this plant get? What is it? What are its colors? And does it always look like this? Or do the colors shift as it matures? So there's always ways to look at and figure out what you've got sometimes. And if you make YouTube videos like I do, sometimes you'll get people who know a lot more about plants in general in your comments who can tell you. So thank you to those people who do leave me comments and who correct me when I say things that are incorrect. I do appreciate it. I did not show you my Calathea ruffibarba, and I am so sorry about that. And I am so sorry to my Calathea ruffibarba, because I do call myself on Instagram a Calathea assistant for a reason, and that I spend a lot of my time just assisting my Calatheas. But I hope you enjoyed this collection video. It's been highly requested, so I wanted to make sure I got that out for folks. And this is a stressful time, and I'm really aware of that. So I just want you to know that I am hoping that you're finding good things to keep you occupied during what is an incredibly stressful time. And if there's anything else that you'd like to see, leave me a comment. Until next time, be well and take care.